I think that's an interesting dynamic. Family business can go one of two ways.
Yeah, it's gone both of those ways. Yeah, it can go both of those ways in a given day.
Hi everyone, I'm Matt LaMarsh with Keller Williams First Atlanta, and this is Selling Sandy Springs. So let's start out with who you guys are and where we are today.
I'm Bruce Bogartz.
I'm Scott Bogartz, and we're at Bogartz Food Arts in Sandy Springs.
Very good. Located in the
City Walk Shopping Center.
Perfect. Very good. With the Kroger and post office and
Yep.
everything else. Very good. So tell us a little bit about the location here and what you guys do, the type of food that you offer.
Well, we'll let Scott talk about the location because it was kind of his selection. He has lived here longer. I moved here from Knoxville to open the restaurant.
Perfect.
I'm from way back. I graduated a few thousand years ago from Emory and hadn't been back really. So Scott was living here for the last 20 some odd years and he's more familiar with the area.
Gotcha. Very good. So Scott, why this location?
You know, I was looking, when we started looking, I was looking for areas that we knew, areas that I could afford. I have two sons, one of whom graduated a couple years ago from, and one of whom is a junior at the Galloway School. So, I spend a lot of time driving right past this area. We have a lot of friends from school that are up and down around here. So, it was kind of a familiar area, and it turned out that this place was available, and the timing was right, and the rent was right, and the location was good, and there we are.
Perfect. And it's a great location. I mean, you're in the middle of everything here.
Yep.
So.
And you got nice parking, which is nice, and a great community, very supportive community, and they understand what we're doing, and they enjoy it, and they appreciate it, so that's been really great.
Good. So talk about the menu, talk about the food.
So it's one of the oddest menus that I've ever been a part of, and since I write it, I guess I'm highly a part of it. But, Scott had certain things that he wanted to see represented. He's kind of a quirky eater, so honestly there's items on the menu that are purely there because he likes them, and that's cool because he's the man here, so that's important. There are things that I've done in the past, cuisines that I've done in other cities that I knew would do well. There are things that seem to be underrepresented in the market, which was part of it. And then there's, I get bored easily, so I cook, and so there's a real variety on the menu. So we do everything from Jewish comfort food to Cajun Creole to regional Southern.
Okay. So
that first one could knock out a whole lot of the other one without a whole lot of flexibility. So when we opened, it was interesting because people were really trying to define us, and in their own minds, some of the things we did were certainly counterintuitive.
Sure.
But we've kind of established ourselves, and I think we find that people come in, one night they're feeling hamburgerish, one night they're feeling barbecue ribish, and one night they're feeling, smoked salmonish. It's they come with a very set picture in their mind
Sure.
of what they want. So we've tried to play along those lines. I certainly had ideas when I came, and most of those have changed. There's not a direct transition from one market to another. I thought things that I've done in Knoxville for 15 years and become known for would be an automatic hit here, and that was not so much the case.
Sure.
But after a year, I'm starting to figure it out.
Good. Very good. And so where do you draw the inspiration for such a wide variety?
Well, I've always loved to eat, and in a city with such a great market, there's recreation is really dining for me because there's not a whole lot of time off.
Sure.
And so now I'm part of that scene for somebody else. So the inspiration is not really compromising my own integrity, doing things that are both affordable and approachable, but aren't aren't a cave-in, aren't buying something pre-made. I still have all the attentiveness to the industry, to trends, to appropriate things. I'm classically trained. I don't want to give any of that up, but I have to do what works. So that has been a learning curve for me too, because I can be very undisciplined in the ingredient-driven part of the menu.
I feel like I'm seeing a trend here. Okay, so you're the creative, and we got the business over here, and so So talking a little bit about that, I think that's an interesting dynamic. Family business can go one of two ways.
Yeah,
It's gone both
and
of
it can,
those
yeah, it
ways.
can go both of those ways in a given day. It can go both of those ways. This is not. I am not a restaurateur. Before doing this, I was in software development for 25 years before I did this, and then I managed to escape software development and spent a little while doing stand-up comedy and watching a lot of A&E TV during the day. And at some point, I guess I decided that I was just getting too much sleep at night and my blood pressure was too low. So I decided I needed to jump back into something high stress and high risk. So, it's something that I had always wanted, when he was up in Knoxville and doing it for himself up there, he was always maybe missing, someone in the front of the house or someone watching out for the numbers that was, also watching out for his back and kind of had the same aligned interests. So it was always something that I thought that maybe if I had a chance someday that we could work together and try and, have two pieces of the puzzle that you need to have. So we're trying.
That's awesome.
It's definitely learn a lot every day about it, and it's very different managing people than managing computers. The computers are much more logical than people, so that's always a little bit interesting for me. But it's been good, and it is really hard to describe. That when we were coming up with our tagline, our first tagline was Southern accent with a global flair.
Okay.
And all the marketing people said, well, you can't say global anymore, and you can't say fusion, and you can't say all these things, which it's already very hard to describe what he does. People used to ask that when he was in Knoxville. Like, well, what kind of food does your brother serve? And it's like, well, you really just got to look at the menu to understand it. It's very hard to do the marketing elevator speech, but we came up with, everything is crafted with a Southern accent, so that kind of combines, it's all chef-driven, it's all craft-driven, and, the little threads of Southern go through everything, so it's just that little variation that we put on stuff. So
Very cool.
all the people who live in all the new little apartments and developments going up that seem to eat out, every night, and we've kind of got a menu that's driven towards, like you said, you could come and have fish one night, you could have steak one night, you could have, a Southern creation another night, and other than the consistent excellency of the food, you could have three very different experiences.
Sure.
So, the people who are, frequent eaters, people who just love good food and fun, and things like that. And then, we've got Thanksgiving banquet, we've got gift cards for the holidays, and office parties, everything from small luncheons all the way up to rent the whole
Renting
restaurant
the whole
out.
restaurant out.
Perfect. Very good. And how many people can fit in the restaurant here?
About 120.
Perfect.
If it's a nice day and we can put people on the porch, 160.
Okay. Wow.
So.
Very good. Cool. So as far as group catering goes, talk a little bit about that and what the kind of perfect group size is for you guys.
Well, I mean, the perfect group size is, it all depends.
Sure. Sure.
I've done some group dynamic things where I've done cooking classes and team building kind of things where they rent the whole restaurant, and those are great. I'd say in the 40 to 80 range is kind of our happy place.
Sure.
It's great when a group can rent the whole restaurant out because then they get our undivided attention and there's no distractions for them as well.
Sure.
Catering can be expensive, and really we're pretty affordable. We don't do a room charge per se. We work it into the cost of the event.
Right.
And we have full bar capabilities, and so we can be a very friendly, user-friendly kind of experience in catering. Food is the easy part because I can cook anything, and as long as I have my staff here and my stuff here, I can really do anything.
Sure.
So that really makes catering a fun way to do some business.
Awesome. So if someone wants to get more information on hosting an event here, having you guys cater in for an office party or something, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
They can call 833-FOOD-ART, which is 833-366-3278, or they can email scott@bogartzfoodarts.com or info@bogartzfoodarts.com.
Perfect.
Or come to the website.
Very good. Guys, thank you so much.
Thank
I appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate it very much.